Hello, and welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm Joe Flash, and welcome back to another reaction video. So as you may be aware of, a few days ago I uploaded my previous reaction video to where I was checking out a new series on YouTube. Well, it's actually not a new series, but it kind of actually is because it's only a year old, so it's still a recent new series. But basically, a series called As the Clock Turns, a story reading series that basically Ken, well, there's his YouTube name, but basically when he found me, he went by Ken Studios. He requested me to check out the series when he found me on Discord and asked me if I could check it out, and I decided to. I just wasn't sure when I was going to start until I finally started a few days ago. And not too long ago, he even reached out to me saying, good first reaction to the first episode. He even did comment on the video as well when he saw me react to it as well, so appreciate the reach out, man, and appreciate you making the suggestion for me to check it out, bro. So we're going to continue where we left off. We're only on Chapter 1. So far, the series only is at Chapter 1, and there's 6 different parts. In the last video, we checked out Part 1. Now we're going to check out Part 2. Excuse me, a hiccup. There's not really much left to be said, other than if you've seen my Part 1 video, you may already know what's happening so far, but if you haven't yet, you should go check it out. Like I said, you could go check out the previous video I did on my video, like see the last reaction. I can't really say much else, other than I'm just ready to get this started because, you know, there's just really not a lot to say here since I'm totally unfamiliar. I'm only getting a little bit into the story on what it's about since when I reacted to the Part 1, Chapter 1 video. Just seeing a little bit of like where it started. We're going to see how much further it goes into. So there's not really much else left to be said. I'm just ready to go ahead and get this started. As always, I'll leave the link to the original video down below in the description. Other than that, let's go ahead and get it out of the way, shall we? Nothing more left to be said. This is a My Little Pony read-along, by the way. He's a brony, so Ken's a brony. So in case you're wondering what series this is a My Little Pony related series. Like I said, if you haven't checked out me reacting to Chapter 1, Part 1 yet, you should check it out to see the timeline and all that, where it takes place. But other than that, let's just go ahead and just get this out of the way, shall we? Nothing more needs to be said. So like John Cena and Triple H will always say, your time is up, my time is now, it's time to play the game. Let's go ahead and get right into it, shall we? As the Clock Turns, story reading, Chapter 1, Part 2, in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Ken Do Studios present a My Little Pony story reading. I like how the clock, you know, ticking goes in with every, like, thing that pops up. Chapter 1, Part 2. Princess Twilight Sparkle.
A place Twilight had once considered home. A place where she grew up with her friends and had many memories. In fact, the last time she was at Ponyville was exactly 1 year ago to the day.
Oh. Okay, so I was wrong then. Okay, because in my Part 1 video, I thought that this took place in between. Like, I thought this took place, like, right after Twilight became the new ruler of Equestria and Princess Celestia and Princess Luna retired. And then I thought this was before she became the official Princess of Friendship. Well, like, she was already the Princess of Friendship, but became, like, the new ruler where she looked exactly like Celestia, where she grew older and then, you know, she had a student, you know, and all that kind of stuff. But okay. Based on these pictures here, apparently this does take place afterwards. This is kind of like an afterthought of what happened after the series officially ended and the final episode of The Last Problem. Okay. So I was wrong, okay. But anyway, continue.
And before that, Twilight had rather not think about. But one cannot forget a time when a known pony dies, and it returned to Twilight's mind like a bee sting. She had been in Ponyville on account of some business with the Pear family having their entire crop stolen and found being resold to make a quick bit. The visit was not a very informative one that day, as Twilight asked around Ponyville and was getting nowhere finding out who the thief was.
Or
as the sun set, she decided she would
so
watch
maybe
the farm
basically the
overnight
story
to
is where
see
she's
what would
remembering
happen.
all the stuff. Okay.
Sweet
So
Apple
maybe it's
Acres
both.
was right
Basically,
next
it takes
door to
place
the
in
Prickly
between
Pear farm,
before she
and she would
became,
not miss the opportunity that she
like,
could spend the
she
night
ruled
with
Equestria
her
and then had a
friends.
student, and then after, because apparently it's basically both, because
Upon
she's
Twilight
remembering,
knocking on the
right?
barn door, it took a while for
That's basically what this is,
Applejack
right? Am I getting this correctly? So, like, really, in reality, she's already the ruler of Equestria, and you saw because that picture of her where she was an older Twilight, where, you know, she would look like Celestia. So basically, it does take place after the series is ended, but she's remembering, like, as the clock turns, basically, she's remembering her young memories as a young Twilight, basically. Like, she's remembering, so like throwback memories and stuff like that. You know, there are like movies that are like that, kind of like Forrest Gump, where, you know, in most of the story, Forrest Gump recaps his life until they reach it up to the end of the point where he finally quits narrating after he reaches up to what he was currently doing when he was sitting on the bench the entire time telling people his stories. So maybe it's something like that. Maybe it's like a Forrest Gump kind of thing, you know, just Twilight recapping her like past, you know what I'm saying? I'm just guessing, okay? Sorry.
answer. The surprise on Applejack's face was very telling, that she had not expected any pony to show up at this time of day, let alone Twilight, of all ponies.
It's pretty.
Twilight, this here's a very nice visit.
Well, there's a
What are you
dialogue
doing
this
all the way
time.
out here? I thought you were still holding the fort at Celestia's castle.
Twilight was all business.
I mean,
on
there's
this
some
visit,
dialogue, excuse
and
me.
tried not to get too excited, seeing her
That's an
acquaintance.
older Applejack.
Hello, Ajay. I'm here on account of an unsolved mystery. The one where an entire supply of pears has gone missing for 3 weeks and counting? What do you know of it?
That is an
Oh,
older Applejack, right?
That.
She looks older.
Twilight,
Just doesn't have
you
her
didn't
hat
have to
on.
come all this way just to solve a little mystery like this. Honest to goodness, things get stolen all the time. Nothing on this here man to do, mind you, but still.
Well, the police ponies have tried to catch a culprit, but have always missed the actual stealing. This robbery has caught the eye of the Princess of Canterlot, and in the interest of public safety,
I'm
she
guessing
has
this is
volunteered
AI
to
voice
take
because
this
that
case
sounds almost
herself.
exactly like Andrea
I
Lib.
think
No,
that's
no,
just a fancy way of
Ashley
saying you
Ball
just
and
want to do
Tara
old
Strong. So I'm
Twilight
probably going to
stuff.
take a wild guess this is AI
Believe
voice.
me, I would like to.
'Cause that sounds
but seriously,
exactly
I need
like
to do
them,
this for
so it's got to
Equestria.
be AI voice, right?
Otherwise, the hippogriffs will start accusing me of slacking off on a town that taught me magic, and I would never hear the end of it.
All right, Sugar Cube, no need to get your tail in knots. All I know is how much you probably already know. Pears are there one day, gone the next, with no trace.
Then I will have no choice but to watch the farm tonight, collecting every piece of evidence that I can. Would you mind if I stayed
Sorry,
up in your house tonight
notification
to
from
watch
the
over the
YouTuber
farm?
subscribe to.
Of course you can stake out here. Although you're sure you're telling the truth, though? Because something tells me you just want to sleep over just like old times.
I said it before. I'll say it again. Solving this mystery is important to your neighbors here and about Ponyville.
Fair enough, Twi. You can find cloths already on the bed. Just in case.
Sure
At least the
thing,
story, you
Applejack.
know, in my opinion, enhances a little bit more now that we got dialogue going on. And pictures.
As Twilight passed many rooms, she heard a loud noise that came from Granny Smith's newly renovated room. Granny was getting on
Hey,
in
Granny
age
Smith.
and was now at the point where she could not get out of bed anymore. It was not long ago that she was announced for hospice care, but instead of being in hospice, Granny wanted to stay at the farm to be cared for out of pride. So her family respected this wish. As she entered the room, she could tell that Granny had been there a while with the smell of sweat and bathroom smells emanating from the bed she lay on. The sound that was blasting out of the house came within her room, and it was playing Granny Smith's favorite radio show, the Flibber Moxney and Halsey Show. It was so loud that Twilight had to stop her ears for a moment with her wings, out of concern for her hearing. Granny saw this display, acknowledged her presence, and promptly stopped the radio.
Well, as I live and breathe, a Sparkle, Princess of Equestria, no less, here in my own home.
Please, save your strength.
Twilight yelled, as Granny was obviously hard of hearing as well.
So,
Well, Twilight, what can I do for
well,
you?
okay, that's a voice actor.
I
Well, that's
offer you
definitely a
make
voice
this
actor
living
for sure for
home,
Granny
but I
Smith.
suppose Applejack already did that. Takes after me, you know. At least I hope. Nothing else, I hope she'll be happy in whatever she does.
The lingering thought of the mouse robbery still lingered in Twilight's mind, but she had some time left before sundown, and she wanted to talk with Granny while she was there.
I'm glad you raised her well, Miss Smith. Do you think she will ever make Zap apples as good as you?
Are you kidding? The young got nothing on your old timer. She will never make him as good. I'm just glad the trilogy is coming this year so that maybe no pony will notice.
Kind of makes me feel a little bit
Who
like I'm
are
not
the
fully
trilogy?
sad, but it does make me feel
Are
just a
they
little
a
sad
group
of just
of
hearing Granny Smith.
ponies?
You know, it just sounds like, you know, she's really
Yeah,
about
it
to
does
pass
sound
on.
like
You know what I'm
that,
saying?
doesn't it? Well,
This voice kind of just makes
maybe
Granny
we
Smith
call it
really sound like she's
something else,
passing on
but
very soon. You know what I'm saying?
the trilogy are the elements that
It's
are
always got to be
required to
sad
grow
when somebody
Zap
comes to the end of
apples.
their life like this.
I'm sure you know of them already.
But at least they've lived a long, happy life. You know what I'm saying?
Well, every 50
I can imagine that
years
if
or
Granny
so,
Smith
a
passed
massive
away, like when she did
thunderstorm
pass away,
comes
I can
over
just imagine she
Ponyville,
was just completely
only to
surrounded by
cover
her
one
family.
half
Apple
of the
Blue,
farm.
Applejack, Big Macintosh,
And the
just
sun
the
is
whole
drawn
Apple
on the
family
edge of
was
spring
surrounding her.
and summer, making the sun angle just right on the other side. It is quite the beautiful sight if you ever see it.
Shoulders
Too
itching.
bad this year I'll be sitting this one out.
The old green mare may have had wrinkles, but a frown was not a wrinkle Twilight expected from Granny Smith. Twilight tried to change her sad mood by cheering her up.
Maybe we can turn your bed around so you can see it happening.
Well, now I suppose I could. The problem is no pony would be able to move me because of the third element. The third element of teamwork. You see, Twilight, the trilogy is needed because the apples come in so quickly and aggressively from the other two that constant work is required to harvest them all.
Wow. All hands on deck? Well, then, before that happens.
Oh,
Sorry, I was fixing my
I
socks.
see.
Socks were crooked.
Well then, I suppose we better get started moving the bed.
I beg your pardon?
Well, the trilogy could go at any moment, sweetie. The signs have already aligned. But no one knows the day or the daylight hour when that thunderstorm is going to happen. Particularly since the new pony who's in charge of the weather is very persnickety about keeping the weather to
New
himself.
pony in charge of the
To
weather,
the point
huh?
where we have to have weather ponies
Who's in
predict
charge
what
of the
the
weather
Sam
now?
Hill is doing today.
Twilight actually recalled signing a paper on how to create more jobs by withholding weather schedules.
Sorry, that was actually my idea. You see, the ability to have weather ponies look for signs in the sky actually creates more job opportunities and...
She stopped herself. Was he really telling Granny about her work?
Trust me, it's better for all ponies.
You don't have to apologize, dearie. If I would question everything you did and tell you what to do, I would be the princess. You are a trusted leader, Twilight. Otherwise, Celestia wouldn't have handed their crown to you. But I bet you know that a castle nor a crown makes a good leader. And she knows it too. Remember that. But I would still like the bed rotated to that window over there.
She said, pointing to the window overlooking the orchard. Twilight responded by using her horn magic to levitate all the objects in the room to position Granny's bed
dear.
to look over the orchard.
Oh my. Oh.
As soon as she was finished, Granny blushed.
Oh, thank you kindly, Twilight. I'm so mighty happy that you're here. Now, back to my original question. How can I help you, Twilight?
You already helped me by helping you, Granny.
Granny smiled as she began to close her eyes, as if content with that response.
Good. Glad to help. then you are excused.
Twilight obeyed, leaving the room, as Granny turned back the radio on to hear the last 3 tones of the radio program play to signify the top of the hour.
This is NPR, the Mountain Pony Radio.
And it continued to play bluegrass music all through the house.
That's cool. I could just imagine this is probably what Granny Smith did, probably towards the end of her life before she passed away. Oh, here's the voice cast. Narrator, Uber Duck. Oh, narrator's Uber Duck. Twilight. Yep. Okay, so the Uber Duck AI voices for... Oh, there's no voice actors for Applejack and Twilight Sparkle. That was because it's AI. That's why it's a little dash thing. It was Uber Duck. Oh, Ken did the voice of Granny Smith? Wow, okay. Wow, seems like Ken himself did the voice of Granny Smith. That's cool. And the radio sting, yeah, there's no voice for that either. So Granny Smith was the only one that had a voice actor in here, apparently. It was voiced by Ken himself. Cool. I mean, hey, that was actually not a bad voice for Granny Smith, you know, so I'll give him credit. But that was good. I ain't gonna lie, that was actually pretty good. It's getting there, you know, it's getting into to see what's going on. I think I'm starting to learn about what the truth is behind this story. Like, I think it's starting to figure out that, you know, it's kind of both, you know, pretty much it takes place after Twilight becomes the new ruler of Equestria and is an order pony where she looks just exactly like Celestia, but she's recalling and recapping, like, some of the stuff she did in the past, I guess, before she ruled everything. So maybe I'm kind of right. I don't know. I thought I was wrong at first when I saw... Celestia version of Princess Twilight, but then I saw that when we saw young Twilight again. I was like, oh, so is she recapping her story? So yeah, I'm still a little bit confused, but I feel like I could be right, but I don't know. Unless if Ken tells me himself about where the story takes place, I wouldn't be able to know for sure. But if I ask this, maybe if Ken sees this, maybe he'll answer my question, but we'll see. Anyway, that was good. It's getting there, you know, I'm just really focused. You know, I usually would commentate every once in a while during the videos, but it's catching my attention to where I'm not hardly commentating nearly as much. I'm trying to listen because it's a story read-along, right? So you gotta listen. But it's getting there where we hear some voices going on and, you know, we see some pictures and all that kind of stuff. Had my attention a few times, and I even did ask some questions and all that kind of stuff, so... It's getting there. It seems like it's starting to really pick things up about what's happening, you know what I'm saying? So I'd be eager to see some more pretty soon, but that'll be for the next video when we check out part 3 of chapter 1. So until when we get back with that video, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to call it off right here. I hope you enjoyed this. Stay tuned for the next video, and that's all I got left to say. I'm out of here, y'all. Y'all have a good one. That'll be it for today, guys. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up. Dislike to give it a thumbs down. Join me next time for the next video. To all you boys, men, and guys out there, poo! Oh, sorry, I forgot to do the thing. Fist bumps good to all of you, and to all the girls, ladies and women out there, kisses got to all of you. But until then, this is Joe Flash signing off, and have a good day.